I never thought I'd be the kind of guy waiting by the phone for someone who insists he's straight. But there I was, every Friday night, my heart racing when I heard the familiar ringtone. It was Callum Hayes, handsome, charming, impossibly straight, yet somehow making me feel like the only person in the world who mattered. Before we go any further, if you're enjoying this story, like this video, share it, subscribe, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Trust me, the tension in this story only grows, and missing out would be a crime. Callum had that rare kind of U.S. name that stuck with you. A soft elegance, understated, yet commanding attention without trying. He lived across town in a loft that overlooked the quiet streets of Burlington, Vermont, and he called me religiously every Friday at 9 p.m. We talked about everything. Work, music, movies, the mundane, but always linger on the edges of something unspoken, something forbidden. I don't know why I keep doing this, he said one Friday, voice warm, casual, yet charged in a way I couldn't ignore. Doing what? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady even as my pulse jumped. This, he said, a pause heavy with intent. Calling you every week like I want more than a friend. My chest tightened. I should have stopped him, reminded him of boundaries, of the straight line he insisted on keeping. But I didn't, not when my own heart had been waiting for him to cross it for months. You already have more than a friend, I whispered. There was a silence on the line, then a low laugh that made my ears burn. Maybe I do, but that doesn't change anything, doesn't it? I challenged softly, leaning back against the couch, imagining him in his loft, the dim city lights casting shadows across his face. No, he admitted finally. It shouldn't, but every Friday, I just can't stop myself. And that was when it hit me. Every week, every call, every lingering pause at the end of a sentence, he was leaving a trail of heat straight to me. Every confession, every whispered laugh, every casual goodnight, was a spark lighting a fire I could no longer ignore. You know, I said, voice low, almost trembling, this is torture. I know, he said softly, and I like it. The line went quiet for a moment, filled with the kind of tension that made my chest ache. Then he spoke again, closer, more intimate. If you were here right now, I'd kiss you. My breath caught. Callum, just imagining it, he murmured. For now. But one day, that one day, hovered between us like a promise, teasing and impossible to ignore. I laughed softly, trying to mask the shiver running through me. You're a terrible influence, I said. And you love it, he replied, voice warm, low, dangerous. By the end of the call, my heart was racing, my mind spinning. I knew the rules. I knew he was straight. But the line he crossed every Friday, the way he made me feel, had become the most intoxicating part of my week. And I was powerless to resist it. After that call, the rest of the week felt empty. I found myself checking my phone every hour, counting down the minutes until 9 o'clock on Friday. Callum had a way of filling the space between us with electricity, a charge that lingered long after the line went dead. When Friday came, I was ready, heart hammering, hand shaking slightly as I pressed the phone to my ear. Hey, I whispered, barely able to keep my voice steady. Hey, he said, the sound of his voice making my stomach flip. I've been thinking about you all week. You shouldn't, I said, though I didn't mean it. Every word he spoke, every pause, every soft laugh, made me ache. Maybe I like that, he replied, voice low, teasing, deliberate. Thinking about you, wondering what it would be like if things were different. I swallowed hard. Callum, we shouldn't. Shouldn't what? He asked, cutting me off with a laugh that made my knees weak. We're just talking. Talking can't hurt. But it did. Talking hurt worse than silence. Every word, every pause, every soft intonation carried a weight I could feel in my chest. And I wanted it. I wanted him. I wanted the warmth of his hand against mine, the heat of his lips, the impossible thrill of crossing a line we weren't supposed to cross. You're dangerous, I whispered. And you love it, he said, voice soft, almost intimate. Tell me you don't. I didn't. I couldn't. I do. I admitted, heart racing, cheeks burning. Good, he murmured, because I'm not stopping. We stayed on the phone that night longer than ever, talking about everything and nothing, letting the intimacy grow in the pauses, the shared laughter, the silences that spoke louder than words, the line between friendship and something more blurred with every sentence. By the end of the call, I was trembling, not just from desire, but from intensity of connection I felt. He wasn't mine. He was straight, after all, but the way he made me feel every Friday night. It was addictive, intoxicating, impossible to resist. I realized then that the rules didn't matter. Desire doesn't check boxes. It doesn't follow labels. And I was already falling hard into something I knew was forbidden but irresistible. It happened on a Friday that started like any other. I had been counting down the hours, heart pounding with anticipation. When the phone rang at 9, I almost dropped it. Hey, I whispered, voice tight with excitement. Hey, Callum's voice replied, low and intimate. You busy tonight? I hesitated. Not really, why? Come over, he said casually, but the way he said it made my chest seize. I just want to see you. For a little while. I swallowed hard. You're sure? Yeah, he murmured. It's been a long week. I need this. We both do. By the time I arrived at his loft, the city was quiet, lit by the soft glow of street lamps. He opened the door, looking more impossible than ever. His shirt clung slightly at the shoulders, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly mussed from the wind. I couldn't breathe. Hey, I said, voice barely audible. Hey, he replied, and just like that, the line between straight and forbidden blurred entirely. His hand brushed mine as he led me inside, casual, intimate, deliberate. We talked, laughed, and leaned into each other gradually, small touches growing bolder. A hand on a shoulder, a brush of fingers, a lingering look across the couch. Every action, every glance, every soft laugh was charged with desire. Finally, he leaned closer. You know, he whispered, lips brushing mine softly, teasing, testing. This is dangerous. I know, I replied, heart hammering, but I can't stop wanting it. One kiss turned into another, deeper, slower, urgent but careful. My hands found his arms, tracing, memorizing. His hands mirrored mine, exploring, holding, pressing me closer. We were both trembling, breathless, intoxicated by proximity and need. Minutes stretched like hours. Every whisper, every sigh, every shiver built an intimacy that neither of us could ignore. I realized then that he wasn't just calling me every Friday night to talk. He was calling me to this, to us, to the undeniable pull between us that had been growing for weeks. Callum, I whispered, voice trembling. He kissed me again, a long, slow exploration that left us both gasping. I told you, I can't stop, he murmured against my lips. And I don't want to. By the end of the night, tangled in blankets and warmth, hearts pounding, we lay side by side, staring at the ceiling, knowing we had crossed a line neither of us could or wanted to uncross. The thrill of forbidden desire was intoxicating, and yet, underneath it, something deeper had taken root. Trust, connection, the undeniable intimacy of being fully seen by someone who shouldn't even want you. Morning sunlight spilled to the loft windows, bathing Callum's face in a soft glow. I traced a finger along his jawline, memorizing him, savoring every detail. You awake? He murmured, voice husky with sleep and something more. Yeah, I whispered, smiling. He leaned in, pressing a slow, lingering kiss to my lips. We don't have to pretend anymore, he said softly, voice full of warmth. I know, I said, pressing closer. We spent the day wrapped in each other, sharing coffee, soft touches, laughter, and whisper confessions. Every glance, every casual brush of skin, every lingering hand built a bond we couldn't ignore. That night, sitting together on the couch with the city lights sparkling outside, he pressed a hand to my cheek. "You know what?" I asked, heart pounding. "I never meant to hurt anyone," he whispered. "But it feels right." I smiled, pressing my forehead to his. "I don't care about right or wrong. I only care about us." And in that quiet loft, with the soft from the city around us, I realized something essential. Sometimes, the lines we aren't supposed to cross lead to the most intense, most human, most beautiful truths. Callum wasn't just a Friday night call. He was mine and I was his. And for once, I didn't want to pretend anything. We fell asleep tangled together. The city outside our windows, the warmth and connection inside unmatched. Every Friday night after that carried the same heat, the same intimacy, the same undeniable certainty that what we shared was a mistake. It was exactly where we were supposed to be,